All right, Reggie, first off, you have seen Michigan each of the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
When you look at what Michigan is in your estimation, what are they as a team, and obviously it seems like it's a work in progress to some degree, but how close or far are they from being what they were last year?
Well, I know last year is kind of the measuring stick, right? Since the last year's team were able to win the Big Ten championship, and go on to play in the playoffs and have some, success. Beating Ohio State last year was huge. So now that's kind of the expectation, right? And one thing I'll say about last year's team, you guys like Aiden Hutchinson, who just aren't here, and it's very hard to replace a guy like that. So one thing I've seen though from this Michigan team is that they have still been able to get to the quarterback on the defensive line. They've done a great job of getting pressure on the quarterback in a lot of their games, which I think is reassuring for fans, for Michigan fans, because what Aiden Hutchinson and the Jobo provided for them last year was huge, was tremendous. But it's a well-coached football team. They run the football extremely well with Blake Corum, who I think the world of. I think he's, if not one of the best, if not the best running back in college football right now. And he's really given this offense a huge spark. Most of the games, if not all the games Michigan has played, they've been able to run to win. And I think that speaks volumes because it speaks to the offensive line, the job that they've been able to do. And then also, listen, as a running back, I always believe that running back's job is to make the quarterback's job easier. And that's what he's done for them. I do think this game they're going to have to throw the football to win, though. I do think that's going to be a different story because Penn State is pretty good at stopping the run. They're beefier up front. They're bigger. They're better than most of the teams that they've played so far up front. That front seven is pretty good. And so I think this is a game where I'm focused on J.J. McCarthy. I mean, I'm focused on their receiving core, Ronnie Bell, Wilson, some of those other guys, because they're going to have to get open, and they're going to have to create separation. They're going to have to be efficient in the pass game. So this is a game I'm watching J.J. McCarthy, the secondary, the receivers, and the offensive line's ability to be able to protect the quarterback is going to be huge this game as well. Penn State also does a great job at getting to the quarterback, very similar to Michigan. So there are a lot of things in this game that I feel like are evenly matched. And so this game is setting up to be, I think, a really special football game. And that's what we want. When we watch these kinds of games, Big Ten, Penn State versus Michigan, we want to see a great game. I do think Michigan has the advantage being at home, though, having the home crowd behind them. I heard it's going to be a maze out, so that's obviously great, just for the energy. One thing that you want to do as an offense and as a football team, you want to keep the crowd and keep the energy at its highest. And you do that by simply just making plays, throwing the football down the field, letting it go, and just playing free.
Now, you obviously mentioned with Blake Corum, you being a former running back, you're saying that he might be the best in the country. That's pretty high praise.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him that gives you that impression of him?
It's his patience. We have a saying as running backs, is speed through the hole, not to the hole. That means when you get the football in your hands, you're patient, you're waiting, you're allowing the blocks to develop in front of you, you're using your vision. I think Blake Corum has great vision. I also think he has great lateral cut, jump cut ability as well. Might be the best in the game. Is him and Deuce Vaughn are my two favorites to watch just because their abilities to make a guy miss in the hole, one-on-one tackling situations where linebackers in the hole, is not even close. Linebackers are not even clipping their heels, and so it just shows me his patience, his vision, his ability to make somebody miss in the hole in the open field is elite. It's at a high level, and that's what you want as a running back. And then also his toughness, right? You got to talk about his toughness because as short as he is and small as he is, he plays much bigger than he is, and we like players that play big. I felt like I was a player that played big, even though I wasn't that big. I was only 205, 208 pounds on a good day, but I always tried to play much bigger than I was. I always tried to play, much bigger than what that moment called for.
Now, you talked about J.J. McCarthy, this game being really in his hands.
Yep.
You've seen him the last 3 weeks. What have you seen from him in terms of, have you seen him grow his game? And it's been a little bit back and forth with him being compared to the non-conference before you guys started being here on set for him.
Yeah, I think He's done a great job. Listen, Michigan has yet to trail in the second half in all of their football games. So he's doing a good job keeping his team ahead of the chains. He's doing a good job at not turning the football over. He's hitting his tight ends. He's getting through his progressions. But the one thing I think has been missing is the vertical threat, the vertical pass threat, the downfield football that you're going to need in this game. And that's why I'm excited to watch this game, because there is some storylines, some hidden storylines, and just things that are going in the game within the game. And for me, I'm specifically watching that deep ball. That's the play. That's the thing that this offense is going to need in this football game, just because of what Penn State's able to do, up front. And so it's exciting. It doesn't, mean that he's not doing something well. It's just this is now where the maturity is going to come to play, and we're going to need to see him grow a little bit. The offensive play caller as well. He's going to have to dial up some deep throws for him, and get him comfortable early. So it's not just on J.J. McCarthy, and I want to be clear on that, because it may sound like I'm putting it all on him, but it's not all on him. It's offensive line's got to protect him. They got a huge job, a tremendous job. This Penn State defensive line is pretty good, and they can get to the quarterback. If you just go back and watch some of their games, they really got after Auburn. I mean, really got after the Auburn quarterback. And so those variables are going to be important for Michigan to lock in on this game.
Last one for you. You mentioned the defense earlier.
Yeah.
They really seem to come alive, particularly in the second half. How have you seen them improve and grow over the course of the last couple of weeks?
To me, I think the defense has been, one of the staples, of one of the identities of this team all season long. I feel like the defense has really done their part at just getting to the quarterback, creating turnovers, getting pressure, on the quarterback, slowing down the run game. And they played some pretty good opponents. Some teams that can really throw the football. And we saw that against Maryland. We saw them get after Talia quite a bit, to the point where he got knocked out of the football game. And so that just shows me that this defense is picking up where they left off from last year. Yes, they're missing Aiden Hutchinson and some of their best weapons from that D-line, but they're still getting to the quarterback. They're still getting pressure, and really doing their job, doing what they're supposed to.
Awesome, thank you, Reggie.
Yeah, no problem, man.